Give it up for Kirsty Webeck.
Hello, Sydney. How you going? Are you good? Yeah. Should we go around the room and say a few words about ourselves? No, all right. Don't worry. I've got it all under control. It was just a test. I love starting sets with that, right? But it's the kind of joke that relies on the audience feeling comfortable in the knowledge that it's not practical. Like, you got to be able to look around and go, oh, no, there's loads of us. She's fucking with us. I said it a couple of years ago. Like I said at the start of 2020, one night at Hamer Hall back in Melbourne, there were 2,000 people in. Huge show. Sorry to brag. No, I'm not. And I said, should we go around the room and say a few words about ourselves? And we all had a big old laugh because they were like, there's thousands of us. What a dickhead. And then about a week later, I said it at the Enmore Theatre here in Sydney. Same deal, about 2,000 people in, and they were like, oh my God, there's thousands of us. She's off her face. And then about a week later, I said it at the Falls Festival in Byron Bay. Same deal. They were like, oh my God, there's thousands of us, and we're off our face. And then I'm from Melbourne, right? And back home in Melbourne, we started going into lockdowns. And I don't know if you know this about stand-up comedy, but we're a very resilient industry. So every now and then we'd pop out of a lockdown for 10 to 15 minutes and we go, should we put on a show? And we'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's put on a show. And we'd be allowed to, but it would be to a limited capacity audience. And I'd still get up there and I'd go, should we go around the room and say a few words about ourselves? Only this time I would watch 10 people shit themselves. They'd be like, oh no, I think she's for real, fuck. Nudging their mate next to them, were you prepared for this? Are you going to go funny or heartwarming? Love doing stand-up comedy. It's a great job to have. Get to hang out with loose units like you several nights a week. Pretty cool. The one annoying thing about stand-up comedy, though, is that once you become a comedian, you can never have anything bad happen to you ever again for the whole duration of your life without 10 people saying to you, you'd be loving this as a comedian. Your new show's writing itself. You'd be mining this for gold, wouldn't you? And I'm like, yeah. Sure, but right now I'd like my son back. He loves the zoo, but it's been 10 days. Oh, come on, Sydney, I'm kidding. I don't have a son. I never did, just to clarify. It's not that I've made peace with it. I'm not like, he lives with the Meerkats now. I'm not one of those comedians who like singles people out in the audience and has a chat to them. Yeah, I don't really do that. A few relieved faces down here. No shade on other comedians who do it, but I don't do it. I think it's a bit cheeky, like we call it crowd work in our industry, but we're like, please come to our shows, buy a ticket to our show, and then you do the right thing. You rock up to support us, and then we go, oh no, you are the show. We're one of the few forms of entertainment that does it. It's like us and magicians. And in our defence, we're not as bad as magicians, like just in general, but also they're getting up on stage and they're sawing you in half. We're at least allowing you to remain intact physically. I went to the ballet recently because I was tricked into it by a mate. This is how she tricked me. She suggested we attend the ballet in the fun voice. Now, you might be aware of the fun voice. It's a little bit quicker, a little bit high-pitched. We should go to the ballet! Usually accompanied with wide mouth, wide eyes, whips me into a frenzy. I was like, hell yeah, let's go to the ballet. 2 days later, I was looking at my bank statement and I was like, why are we going to the ballet? I'm broke. So I went to the ballet. It was a real baptism by fire. We went to see Swan Lake. Now, if you don't know anything about Swan Lake, allow me to describe it for you. It's too long. It is way too long. I couldn't believe it. It went for like 3 hours. I was like, what could anybody possibly have to express to me through the art of dance that requires 180 minutes of my time? And how I found out about the duration was on the day we've rocked up to the venue and I've taken a look at the ticket and it said there were 3 intervals. And I was like, that's too many intervals. Now, by the end of the performance, I'd backflipped and I was like, it needed 9 more. Unfortunately, the director saw my backflip and now I'm touring with the show. So I'm already livid, right? I'm fuming. And then we start making our way to our seats. And we're walking through the central aisle in this massive venue back home in Melbourne, and we're walking and we're walking and we're walking. I love a walk, but this felt unreasonable. You know, I hit a point where I was like, I don't have any sandwiches on me. I've only got 3 litres of water. You know, like to the point where I got so concerned that I pulled my ticket back out of my pocket to check because I was worried that we'd accidentally booked on the Inca Trail. And it was only then that I was reading this ticket that I realised that we had bought seats in the front row. And I was immediately panic-stricken. I was like, as a stand-up comedian, I know every trick in the book. I was like, I hope they don't want anything from us. I hope there's no audience participation. I haven't stretched. But you'll be pleased to know that at no stage during this performance did the principal dancer whip out a pair of white tights, lean down into the front row, toss them to me, and say, chuck these on, get up here and do a couple of pirouettes. Which I was relieved about because white tights don't lie. Like, they don't keep any of your secrets. Like, I have no business knowing that the principal dancer has a 3mm birthmark on his left nut. In the shape of a swan, what are the odds? I'm not ready to wear white tights, and the public's not ready for me to wear white tights. And that's no offence to me, I'm not the problem here. White tights are the issue here. Like, this isn't about looks or body shaming, you know, like I'm quite happy with how I look. I know that I'm a Metro 7 and a Regional 10. But I also know that in white tights I'd look like a staffy trapped in a condom. You've been wonderful. I've been Kirsty Webeck. Thank you, mate.
Ooh, one more time for Kirsty Webeck, everybody.